of you children of our great God. It's another day's journey, and I'm glad about it. Jeremiah 29:11, you see these words. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. I want to read the same verse from the Message, paraphrase. In verse 10 of Jeremiah 29, the Message reads, this is God's word on the subject. As soon as Babylon's 70 years are up, and not a day before, I'll show up and take care of you as I promised. And bring you back home. I know what I'm doing. I have it all planned out. Plans to take care of you, not abandon you. Plans to give you the future you hope for. The word of the Lord. Lord, for the people of God. For a few moments, I want you to consider the thought, when the shift is uncomfortable. When the shift is uncomfortable. For some others of you, when I don't like the shift. With an anthropomorphism, had God foundationally expressed to Israel, I am a jealous God. Deacon Roberts, an anthropomorphism is a human-like quality. It's when God or humanity expresses something in a human-like way. Because God is spirit, he often spoke through anthropomorphisms. He says, I'm jealous. Jealousy is a human-like trait. And he told Israel, because I'm jealous, through this anthropomorphic quality, thou shalt have no other God before me. Regardless of his admonitions to Israel, they continued to go a-whoring after other gods. As a consequence, even though they were the darling of his eye, he let them know that an inevitable shift was coming. He raises the prophet Jeremiah, who with a lamenting quality sees the condition of Israel, and it brought him much disdain and much pain, because God showed this prophet that Israel would be taken into a period called Babylonian exile. He was going to shift them, if would, from Jerusalem, the holy city of God, shift them into a place of antagonism. And so it was in the years 597, 596, and 586 BC, during the reigns of kings Jehoiakim and Jehoiachin, that Nabopolassar, his son, Nebuchadnezzar, invaded Judah and carried thousands of Jews into a shift. Inevitably, in 586 BC, the temple was destroyed in Jerusalem. And they were stripped from their land, shifted from strength to struggle. So debilitating was the condition in ancient Babylon that one writer, in reflecting on it, wrote this: by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. We hung our harps upon the willows thereof. Because those Babylonians mocked the faith of the people of God and asked them to sing one of the songs that they used to sing back in Jerusalem. And the psalmist's response was, how can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Although we are 2,600 years away from this ancient text, it is amazing that some people today may have that same estimation. We've been here now for an hour and 15 minutes and somebody hasn't sang yet. Because the room is not what they're accustomed to. They're not used to sitting in the same section that they used to sit with. And 7 weeks later, 7 weeks later, can't enjoy the service because they feel they can't sing a song unto the Lord because we're in a strange place. And so there they were, forced again to metaphorically make brick without straw. The Hebrew people are shifted to a place that is uncomfortable. They're on the lower rung of everything that's social, economic, and political. God has shifted. How can you be the people of God but yet be dominated by circumstances and people who don't love him? Brothers and sisters, sometimes the shifts that God will allow us to experience, sometimes painful, even though they may be purposeful. I came to share with you that typically when we think of shift, we think of shifts in terms of that which is glorious, in terms of that which brings us happiness. Many of us anticipate the shifts because we expect something positive to emanate from the shift. But I want to share with you, lest I be imbalanced in my teaching, that all shifts aren't comfortable. All shifts are not enjoyable. It's possible to be in the same place and some see it one way and others see it differently. And there'll be moments in our lives when all of us will find ourselves in a shift that we do not like. And this is what God was saying to the prophet Jeremiah, to let them know that they're going to be in a season of shifting and sifting, it is, for 70 years. From the Babylonians up until King Cyrus and the Persians come to overthrow the Babylonians. For 70 years, it doesn't matter how much they worshiped, how much they prayed, doesn't matter how many prophecies they received. This season was going to last for 70 years. And not one day before would God move them from that shift. Sometimes God has a designated time for what he's doing in your life. And sometimes we want to rush God and move him out of that period because it's uncomfortable. It's not based upon what we had envisioned. What happens when my location does not match my vision? You find yourself in an uncomfortable place. And God said to them, you're going to be there for a minute, but when you're there, you're going to be anointed, but yet be captive. You're going to be blessed, but yet you're going to be bound. And this predicament is going to last for 70 years, whether you like it or not. This is what I have ordained for the nation of Israel. So the question I had to ask here is, God, what do we do when the shift is uncomfortable? And what do we do when I don't like the place where you have me? I want to give you a couple things, and I'll take my seat quickly. The first thing this text is tailored to teach us is when you find yourself in an uncomfortable shift, a place that you don't like, point one, get this, you got to resolve to be productive. Somebody say resolve to be productive. I'm going to be productive. Verse 4 of Jeremiah 29, God says, Israel, you're going to be carried away captives, and I've caused you to be carried away captive. It's me, it's not the devil. I've caused you to be carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. But when I shift you from Jerusalem to Babylon, when I put you in a place for a period that you don't like, that's uncomfortable, here's what I want you to do. I want you to resolve to be productive. Verse 5, I want you to build ye houses and dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. He said, when you're in a place that you don't like, in a season that's uncomfortable, he said, I want you to develop in your agony. What I want you to do, since you're going to be there for a while, go ahead and build you a house. Build you a tent. Live in there. Plant gardens. Eat the fruit. He says, here's why. He says, I don't want you to waste away. I don't want you to waste this moment waiting for a new shift to take place and not be productive while you're in your present place. I want you to look at it from a constructive and not a deconstructive perspective. I don't want you to, listen, I don't want you to dwindle or waste away. I don't want you to be diminished. I don't want you to get smaller there. Don't let your present place make you look small. I want you to grow even where I want you to build. I want you to settle, plant, eat, have posterity. As a matter of fact, what I want you to do is while you're there, I want you to get married, have children, give your daughters to sons and sons to daughters. I want you to multiply the generation. Take whatever moments you have. Listen to me. There's something that you can't do in Babylon. There's some freedom that you don't have in Babylon. But don't let Babylon take your passions. You miss your, yeah. You are a prisoner, but while you're in prison, don't lose your passion. Oh, what can you do? What can you enjoy? They can take your freedom, but they can't take your estrogen and your testosterone. Come on, help me. They can take you into slavery, but they can't take the sensualness and the sensuality of who you are. Learn how to build and bloom and plant wherever you are. Because what the enemy wants you to do is get in a corner and stay stuck and do nothing. But you got to understand that while you're in this place, while you're in this season, here's the problem. Many of us have allowed our theology to be affected by cliches. And we say stuff like this: I'm waiting on my season to come. I'm waiting on my season to come. Brothers and sisters, let me say to you that there's never been a time in your life when you've not been in a season. I'm going to say it again. Existentially, you and I are always in seasons. It's impossible to have existence and not be in a season. Even the natural order of things, climatic conditions understands we're always in season. Naturally, it may be winter when things are arid, dry, and deathly, or it may be spring where there's constant rain and allergies are affected. It could be summer, a time of vacation and enjoyment. It could be fall, where the leaves are changing. It's beautiful, but it signifies that death is coming. No matter where you are in life existentially, not one moment in your entire sojourn have you ever not been in a season. Problem is, theologically, we say stuff like, I'm waiting on my season, as if you're not in one. Yeah, I hear you over there. Yeah, it's my season. Yeah, it's always your season. The problem is, we've attached my season to success. We attach season to prosperity. We attach season to struggle, not realizing that if you don't realize that you're always in a season, now it may not be the season of your desire. Y'all quiet on me. Y'all quiet on me here. And see, here's the problem. We're waiting on my season. But my season does not come unless I've been responsible in the previous one. Okay, y'all quiet. See, my Bishop Murphy has a song, This Is My Season of Grace and Favor. This is my season to reap what I have sown. Then he closed that song out by saying, I've got a seed in the ground. The basis of that song is, I have the expectation that a season is coming that's going to be based upon grace and favor. But before my season of grace and favor came, I was in a season of putting seed, y'all quiet on me here, in the ground. And a lot of us are going to be perpetually dissatisfied when my season never comes because you didn't realize you always were in one. So if it's not the season that you like, it must be the season of planting. If it's not the season of prosperity, it could be the season of pruning. We keep waiting on God to bring us to my season. And God said, you've never been out of a season. Come here, Solomon, Kohelet, to everything. That's a season. A time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to weep, a time to mourn, a time to plant. Solomon in Ecclesiastes 3 says, we're always. So instead of me being in Babylon and doing nothing, y'all quiet, because I don't like this season, what can I do while I'm in it to prepare me for what God has around the corner? And can I help somebody here today? I believe that even though the season you're in may not be comfortable, you may not like it, but if we manage the uncomfortable seasons well, Paul said there's another season that's called due season. Y'all quiet. And if I be not weary in well-doing, in due season I shall reap if I faint not. Now, I can't tell you when due season is on the calendar. I can tell you that summer come in June. I can tell you that fall come in September. I can tell you that winter come in December. I can't tell you when due season is, but I can tell you if you've been faithful in your off season, if you remain committed in your off season, so stop telling folk I'm waiting on my season. You're always in one. Now you can say, I'm waiting for my season to change. But you can't say I'm waiting for my season to change if you haven't done the necessary things in the previous seasons. You know, one thing that I love about this season is plums. Yeah, and Publix got a new kind of plum. It's a cherry. Hey. Hey. One thing I love about this season is Chick-fil-A has a milkshake that's called peach. Now, the problem with that is when you get 50. I wish I had somebody to talk to me around here. Yeah. Ice cream sometimes don't seem to sit as well with you when you get 50. Am I talking to anybody around that knows what I'm talking about? Now, yeah, you in your 40s keep on enjoying. Time has a way of catching up with you. Now, it'll sit with you. And I made a bad mistake last week. Had to fly to town to preach and forgot had to fly to town to preach. And travel by Chick-fil-A. The day before I got on that flight. I felt so bad for my partner sitting next to me on that flight. I looked at him one time and said, "Who is that? My God." But they got something now called lactate. Y'all help me here. It's a little pill you can take. Come on, help me here. That even though the season, my God, you still can enjoy some stuff of the new season if you prepare. Y'all not with me here. Somebody got this is your lactate season. This is your season to get in your system something that's gonna help you sustain once God blesses you and takes you to a higher level of your enjoyment. Question I want to ask you is, will you remain productive even in the season? So now you're not waiting on your season. You're always in one. You're waiting on due season. Or you wait on your season to change. But don't expect God to bring you to harvest if in the previous season you haven't done any planting. Are you with me here? So you gotta resolve to be productive. Number two, realize you got to pray. I'm almost finished. Yeah, he said, it's right here. He said, I want you to build houses and dwell in them, plant gardens, eat fruit, take ye wives, beget sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and give your sons the daughters, that they may have daughters, that you may be increased. God, I like this. God said that even when you don't like the season, even when the season is uncomfortable, here's what God says, I'm going to let you increase there. Oh, boy. You can grow even in a season that's uncomfortable. That even when you feel like you're dying, even when you feel like it's the worst, God says you will not cower, you will not decrease, you will not shrink under the pressure. That even if you can't stand this season we're in your job, can't stand the people that you work with, that you're in a place that you're more qualified for what you presently are. The Lord told me to tell you that you're not going to die there. You're not going to diminish there. That even if you don't like it, I'm going to increase you in a place. I wish somebody give God praise that God can increase us. Oh, I feel God right there. That even I don't like it, I'm growing. That even in a place that I'm uncomfortable, you can grow in a place, because sometimes that season is about your growth. You thought the season was about your destruction. God is saying the whole season was about your development. Even the place you didn't want to be was about your development. Even if that season is a season of singleness, and your season is one of matrimony, God said, I'm going to keep you there until you're healed enough. Because if I give you your season while you're still broken, you're going to turn that into hell. Y'all not going to help me here. I wish somebody give God praise that God knows where I am. Come on, he knows where I am. And no matter where I am in my life, God's going to help me grow there. Oh, I see you, Bruce. I see. It may not feel good. It may not be desirable. But wherever you are, God said, I can keep you. Y'all point your hand at Bruce. Say, Bruce, God's going to sustain you there. God's going to sustain you in a period where you think you're dying, where you think you're decreasing, where you think you're diminishing. God had a way of developing you in the most difficult places of your life. If you believe that, give him praise and give him glory. Woo, glory. I thank God that sometimes God has punished me for my foolishness. And when God punishes you for your foolishness, it's uncomfortable. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. It's hurtful. But the best thing you can do is don't blame the devil. Don't start hollering your daddy wasn't there, or your mama mistreated me. Come on, and one thing that we're doing now too much is mental illness. Lord, hold my tongue here. Don't get me wrong, I'm an advocate for us having good mental health. I'm an advocate for us bridging the gap between the faith community and the mental health communities. But what I'm noticing now, a lot of folk use mental illness as an excuse to absolve them from responsibility. Y'all quiet on me here. Even our young people, I'm traumatized. 16-year-olds that get their car taken, get traumatized and get online and cussing the dad out, talking about trauma. There ain't no trauma, that's entitlement. Y'all quiet on me. Y'all quiet on me here. She got some personality disorder. No, I ain't got no personality disorder. She got a burden. No, ain't no burden. Somebody didn't get the belt and extend the belt to her behind. Ain't no mental illness. And right now, too many of us are using that as an excuse that now it devalues people who really got some stuff mental going on. Do we struggle with mental illness? Absolutely. But some stuff I did, it wasn't no mental illness. I wasn't ill when I started it, and I didn't get sick when I was doing it. Help me here, somebody. Some stuff I got my stupid self in with my stupid actions, and if I keep on blaming everything else on everybody else, I'll never get the healing. And I wish I had a witness there. Some stuff, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my mother, not my father, not my sister, not my brother, not the white man, not when my daddy been mean to me. Some stuff I got myself into, and the moment I can recognize that, sometimes my biggest problem is a me problem. So when you're there, what do? Verse 7, he says, here's what I want you to do. I want you to seek the peace of the city where I've caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it. For in the peace thereof ye shall have peace. Here's what he's saying. While I'm in that place, I don't like it. I got to find peace there. I'm praying that God will let me find peace on the exterior. But my biggest prayer is help me find peace help me to find inner peace with who I am, with where I am, to forget about what other folk are saying about me. Help me find peace with this is who I am. This is how God made me. I love God. I love myself. Something I did to get myself here. And if I was here because of hurt, it don't mean I got to stay here. Because people will put you in bondage, but ask God to give you deliverance. You know, one of the greatest deliverances you can find is when folk who have tried to destroy you and folks whose actions put you in an uncomfortable place, but you can look at them. You ain't got to block them from social media. You don't sleep with them on your mind and your Glock under your pillow waiting for an opportunity to see them again. You don't wish bad on them. Yeah, come on, you don't want to kill them no more. Come on, help me somebody. I wish I had somebody be real with me around here. My God, you can look at the picture and it don't make you sick no more. Help me talk to somebody. They can marry another woman and you can send them a gift for the reception. I wish I had somebody to talk to me. One of the greatest gifts in life is what used to make me sick. I got so much security in a place, it's been uncomfortable, but I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with my life. I'm happier than I ever been. I wish I had somebody who can talk to me for a moment that it may be uncomfortable, but I'm praying for peace. I'm praying for posterity. He said, listen, while you're there, I'm almost finished. While you're there, he says, listen, pray for the peace. For thus said the God of Israel. He said, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to keep you there. But pray that God gives you prosperity. Pray that God gives you partnership. Pray that God sends somebody else that will come alongside you, even in those moments. So when it's uncomfortable, resolve to remain productive. Realize you got to pray. The third and finally, when you're in an uncomfortable shift, when you don't like this shift, recognize that God has a plan. You know, it's strange when I talk to people about our shift this summer and what brings some a lot of excitement and energy. It's amazing that now you got to get up and get to church on time. Yeah, ain't no more leaving the house at 9:30. Yeah, we get so casual with God. Yeah, when you got 7,000 seats, I just show up. And I get there. Around this time, the choir be finished singing, the announcements be over, and God said, now I'm going to shift you where you got to get up 30 minutes earlier. I'm going to shift you back where you had to get your clothes out on Saturday night. I'm going to shift you back where you got to start cooking and put the food, get it out before you leave house. Why? Because you're being so casual with me. Yeah. Now, you go to work on Monday, you don't leave the house 30 minutes or 15 minutes for report time. You show up on time with donuts, with coffee, to work on another man's job or work in your own business. But when it comes to the man who gave you health and strength and clothed you and put you in your right mind, we get so casual with God. No, you can't just sit in the back where the preacher can't see you. I can see every face in here. From the rooted to the tooted, I see all of you. I see those y'all ain't been here. I see you now. You can run, but you can't hide. Help me hear somebody. Help me hear somebody. Help me hear somebody. We get so casual with God. And with some love, others still focus on what was. What some see as the theater, others see it as the garage. But I'm so glad that God will meet you even in the garage. He met Ezekiel in the valley of dry bones. He met Moses on the backside of a desert in Midian. He met Habakkuk in a rooftop. He met Jonah in the belly of a whale. He met the 3 Hebrew boys in a fiery furnace. Y'all quiet on me here. He met Saul on the Damascus road. He met Tamar in a wilderness, and he'll meet you on Sunday in the garage. How long we gonna be here, God? He said, that's for me to figure out. I said, well, Lord, how long we gonna be in this uncomfortable place? He says, tell Israel they're gonna be there in Babylon for 70 years. For 70 years they're gonna be there. He says, but make sure you tell them this, that I know what I'm doing. And I know the thoughts I have toward you. I'm almost finished. One of peace. Woo, I feel the Holy Ghost. I know the thoughts. He says, guess what? I got a plan. As soon as Babylon's 70 years up, not a day before, Message Bible, Jeremiah 29:10, I'll show up and take care of you as I promised. And I'll bring you back home. When it's time to go back into the cathedral, when I'm ready for you to get there, yeah, when it won't be a struggle and a strain on the preacher or the finances. Y'all not hearing me here. It's funny because a lot of folk want to go back into the cathedral, and why we ain't did this and why we ain't done that. My question is, why you ain't gave no offering? It's sad how some folk give $1 and raise $1 million worth of hell. Ain't sacrificed nothing. Ain't missed no paychecks. But always got something to say. But God told me, if you trust me, even if the season seems uncomfortable, I have a plan. I'll show up and I'll bring you back home. Then God says here, I know what I'm doing. I have it all planned out. I have plans to take care of you. I have planned not to abandon you. I have planned to give you the future that you're hoping for. I can't promise you that every shift is going to be pleasurable. But I can promise you that every shift is going to be purposeful. Do I have a witness here in the building? As a matter of fact, I heard the Lord just say, if you're in an uncomfortable place, I need you to trust me when you cannot trace me. Y'all not saying nothing to me. I need you to hold on when things seem to be insurmountable. And I asked the Lord, sometimes why does it seem so tough? And why does it seem so rough? And the Lord said, yeah, sometimes the clouds hang low. And I can hardly see the road. And I asked the question, Lord, why so much pain? But he knows what's best for me. Y'all got to feel, I feel my ride done showed up. Although my weary eyes, they cannot see. So I'll then lift my hand toward heaven and tell God, thank you, because I won't complain. Oh, I done missed y'all the past few weeks. Somebody around here like me has been going through an uncomfortable season. You made sacrifice after sacrifice. You've prayed and asked God for instructions. And you're wondering, when is the uncomfortable season coming to an end? Yeah, and that's why Andre Crouch put it this way. I've had many tears and sorrows. Yeah, I've had questions for tomorrow. There've been times in my life when I didn't know right from wrong. But in every situation, he give me blessed consolation. He lets me know know that I am healed. Look at somebody and say, hang on in there when the shift seems uncomfortable. And I got to close, you know. But before I close, I'm reminded of an old story. There was a grandfather who was teaching his granddaughter how to drive. Yeah, they were driving from Georgia to Florida. She was 16 years old. And when they left Georgia, the weather was beautiful and serene. Yes, Lord. But when they got down near Ocala, all of a sudden, the lightning started flashing. The thunder was roaring. Yes, and it was raining torrentially. Yes, the young girl was driving the car and could hardly see what was in front of her. She asked her granddaddy because she saw other cars pulling to the side of the road. She said, "Granddaddy, do you need me to pull over?" The granddaddy said, "Can you see the road?" She said, "Yes, I can." He said, "Well, keep on driving." And she kept on driving and got near Orlando and got near Tampa. Yeah, and the rain was still coming. The car from the turnpike to 75 were pulling to the side of the road. Yeah, she asked her granddaddy, "Do you want me to pull over?" He said, "Can you see the road?" She said, "Yeah." He said, "Keep on going." And when they got south of Tampa, all of a sudden the rain stopped and the sun reappeared. Then he told his granddaughter, "Now pull over." She said, "What you mean, Papa?" He said, "Pull over." She pulled the car to the side of the road. He said, "Meet me at the trunk of the car." Yeah, she pulled over and got out and met him at the trunk of the car. Then he pointed back toward the north and said, "You see all those cars that pulled over in the storm? Every car that pulled over in the rain, they're still stuck in the rain. But because you kept on going, you came out the storm, and now the sun is shining." Why don't you look at your neighbor and say, "Neighbor, I don't know what kind of hell you're going through, but whatever it is, keep on driving, because after a while, by and by, the Lord is going to bring you victory. So be not dismayed." Whatever betide you, the Lord will take care of you. Is there anybody here can look back over your life and see how you made it out some uncomfortable seasons? Look at a neighbor. Say, "Neighbor, if he did it for me, he'll do it for you, because the weeping may endure for the night, I said weeping may endure for the night, but joy, come on, give God praise right there. I gotta let y'all go. Touch somebody on the shoulder. Say, when it gets uncomfortable, remember God has a plan. Y'all stand.